Hey, this is Steve with RV to Cycle. Today I'm going to be installing our alternative mounting system for our GPS and the monitor for the rear view camera we put in. If any of that interests you, stay tuned. Because of the way the monitor is set up to mount to the base, I'm going to have to remove this piece of the base, modify it to go onto here along with this threaded shaft, which will end up being cut. What we must do is peel back. I've already modified this thing once. I turned this piece from facing that way to facing sideways. That was for our first use. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel back the paper, and you can see there are 4 screws here. Now the first time you do this, this will be covered with the adhesive, and what I did is I took my trusty Swiss Army knife, cut the adhesive off, and you can see I have it in a little ball right there. Why in a little ball? Because I didn't want there to be an indentation in the paper. Well, now it's done. And why am I taking this off? Well, to be able to use the system I'm using, I need to have a ball on one end of the screw that's going to go in here and mount to the monitor. Why do I need to do that? Well, this monitor, as you can probably tell, has an ear on it, and that ear's right here. There's a corresponding indentation in this part of the mount for the ear, and what that does, once this piece is properly aligned, indentation to the ear or the tab, and you screw on this piece, then it holds it from moving side to side and up and down. If I were to just do this and mount this in our new mounting system, well, then I run the risk of having this guy flop around all over the world. So I'll have one more modification, which is going to be to have a big washer here. This threaded shaft is going to have to be cut. As you can see, it's way too long. If I were to screw this all the way in, it'd poke out the other end of the monitor. Take my 1 inch by 3/16. 3/16 is the hole size. Put it there, and you can see I've cut the long threads off of this, and I'm just going to screw this guy into the hole. Now if you want, you could cut this part off. I just choose to leave it on. It's just a whole lot easier. This guy just slips right in this Garmin, just like the regular mount does. So you can see the regular mount has a little ball on it, and I measured this before I bought this piece, and if you go to the description, there's links on all these parts, and that way you can get the right ones if you have this particular Garmin, if you have this particular mounting system. First thing we have to do is we have to pull the radio out and take out the clipboard, because we're going to be mounting hardware onto that clipboard. We're going to do it real quick and dirty. We got 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head. They're larger than a jeweler's screwdriver, but they're the smallest ones made, and they will fit into these 4 holes. And what we do is we just put it in there, push it all the way in, and you can feel it handling the click. Right, we've got all 4 of those. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the radio out. I'm going to use another small screwdriver. This one's flathead, and I'm going to start over on one of these edges, slip it in here, and get it a little bit loose, then come up to the top where I have a little bigger gap, work my way around, and now I've got it loose. Now I'm going to try to pull it out with my fingers. It's going to take two hands. Once I have it dislodged, and you can see it's pretty well dislodged, I pulled the screwdrivers out, and now I'll be able to move this out of the way. And let me show you real quick what we were doing with the screwdrivers here on the side. See, it goes in and it opens that little tab up right there. And those tabs are what lock it in right there. Right back here, I'm going to access two screws that retain the clipboard. These are T20s, T being torque and 20 is the size. Now we're ready for the first screw. So what I'm going to end up doing is a combination of these two tools. And that means, because I don't have a videographer with me, you're just going to have some faith in what I'm telling you I'm going to do, because I'm not going to be able to record it. When both screws are removed, just put a fingernail up underneath that guy, and looky here, lo and behold, this comes off. We determined that this back piece, which is from it's from Yak Attack. I'll have a link for this and the other parts in the description below the video. This Yak Attack track goes best by the clip, and as you can see, it does have holes in it, and what we're going to do is we're going to center the track on the clipboard, and we're going to drill. It'll end up being 3 holes. As you can see, this hole on the end is just a little too close to the end, same over here, and that will put them in an awkward position relative to the washers that I intend to use. Why the big fender washers? Well, the screws for this track are like number 8 metric, and if I just put them in there with the nut, I run the risk of pulling them through this, and we don't want to do that. Pro tip: turn this bad boy around so you can better see how you're aligned left and right, as well as square. Here we go. All right, I've got it started, and I'm going to move all this, and then I'm going to finish the hole. And because I'm in the van doing this, I need to be very careful that I don't drill all the way through and into Kelly's induction cooktop, which is underneath. I've already gone through one level. I'm going to turn it sideways just to make sure I don't go through the cooktop. All right, I'm through. There we go. Okay, so here comes another pro tip. I'm going to put this washer down low because it's actually a bit too large to go through the slot all by itself. Slide it over here to my center hole. Now I've got it going through there. Put the screw through. Slap my washer on, and now these are nylock nuts or lock nuts, so you don't need lock washers, which is great. And the heads on these are Allen heads, so you'll need an Allen wrench. So the Allen wrench in hand, I'll put on the screen what size that is, and then I have a 9mm socket wrench that I'm using here as a backup. You'd think it, since these are 8mm screws, you'd think it'd be an 8mm, but for whatever reason, the nut is a 9, or requires a 9mm wrench. And I'm not going to over tighten it right now, well, or ever, but I want to get it tight enough that I don't have any movement side to side here like this, because I want it to be as straight as possible when I drill these next 2 holes. And one of those holes will go here, it's pre-drilled in the track, and the other one right here. So I'm going to drill those, and then we'll get back to filming. Voila, that's what it looks like from behind, and this is what it'll look like from the front. One of the things that you'll read in the instructions with the Yak Attack track is they recommend using thread lock. This is the blue 242, and as you can see underneath the 242 right here, it says removable. So this is a great tool to ensure that these guys don't vibrate off. Now, because they're 9-lock nuts, the odds of them vibrating off are pretty slim. When you use this, it's going to be closer to 98-99% that it will not vibrate off. So this piece slides right into the track. Once you get it, tighten that bad boy down, just, you know, as tight as you want to get it with your hands. Then we're going to put this guy on, and actually I want to put it on this way because I want my tightening nut or knob to be on this outside edge. And then just tighten it up. It's much easier to tighten if it's on the outside edge. At least it is for me. I'm right-handed. And I'm not going to get it too tight. I want to be able to move it around once I get it positioned. But I want it to be tight enough that I'm not going to have this thing flopping around. This guy works the same way. We just unscrew it a tad, slip it in, gonna tighten it up. Again, I've got this, it's where it's gonna work a lot better for someone who's left-handed, but it's gonna make it easier for me, I think. Nope, I'm not gonna do it that way. I am gonna put it back over here for the right-handers. I'm gonna squeeze the back end. There we go. Tighten it up. Not at its tightest level. And there we have it. It will look something like this when it's mounted. We've got it, it's looking good. We're going to take these pieces off, and now we're going to remount. When you're putting this back in, you want the tabs on the clipboard to go up to the top of the holes in the dash so that the clipboard just drops in just like that. So with the clipboard in place, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the screws back in the holes. I'm going to use the magnet on the screw to place it in the hole. Then what I'll do is I'll end up sliding the magnet over to the side like so, which will expose the torque indentation in the screw, and then I'll slip my screwdriver in that, remove the magnet, and tighten that bad boy up. You can see they're in there. There's one, there's the other one. And how tight do you get them? Very tight, using 2 fingers to turn the driver, the screwdriver, the torque driver. If you go much more than that, you will end up stripping things, and then you'll really be upset. Now all that's left to do which I probably should have done previously, is to put the radio back. All right, well, I'm gonna try to hold the camera while I reinsert the radio, and if that doesn't work well, sorry, I'm gonna have to turn the camera off and just kind of do it. Oh man, that went in so easily, and you hear it click. Now, here's an important test for everybody to do once you get things reinstalled: is turn on that radio, make sure it works. Looky there, looky there, looky there. It's working. But this is how it looks when it's finished. Got a gap underneath both of these devices so that they don't go click, 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 click on top of the clipboard as we bounce down the road. And I have the things angled appropriately for both Kelly and me. This is how we had our Garmin GPS and our AutoVox Rearview Camera mounted originally, and here's the after. That's a wrap for today. I hope you got something out of this video. It did take, as you can tell, I'm wearing a different color shirt. Took a few days to make everything happen because it is so hot in here. I only work in here for a little while and then go back in the house. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section, or you can send them directly to me at rvtocycle@gmail.com. I do hope you got something out of this. I do appreciate all you folks watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. It makes it easier for others to find. Take care. See you next time. Bye.